Hello and welcome to another Business Spotlight interview. Today I am with Jim Grimmer of P3 Business Care. So thanks very much, Jim, for joining us today for this Business Spotlight interview. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, Mark. Thanks very much for the invitation. Much appreciated.
No problem, no problem. Tell me a little bit about your business, P3 Business Care. Tell me, how did it start? And tell me your role within the business as well.
Yeah, I'm founder and CEO of P3 Business Care. My working background, I'm born and bred in Aberdeen, and I was 20 years as a police officer, then another 20 years in the oil and gas industry in Aberdeen. And during that time, really, I saw that everything from an employee care perspective was reactive. You know, everything that was allowed to get to that crisis point. Normally someone would go off sick, and then maybe HR, if they worked in a company with an employee assistance program, HR would phone them and say, look, phone this number, someone will help. What really struck me was a situation with one of the major oil operators, a young guy in his early 30s, married with 3 children, left his desk one lunchtime and took his own life. And I thought, surely that shouldn't have happened. If he'd only had someone in the business, so not at work and not at home, but sat in that gap that he could have spoken to in confidence, would that have been enough to stop him doing that? So P3 Business Care, I created as a social enterprise and community interest company. We provide personal, proactive partnership support. So we have male and female P3 business partners, as they're called, tend to be more mature, shall I say. They've got life experience. There's not a lot that's going to faze them. But visit our client companies twice a week and develop trust and relationship incredibly quickly. The very first company we started a pilot with, we always offer a 3-month pilot. And the CEO said, I think we'll need to run the pilot for 6 months to get the engagement with the staff. And literally within 6 weeks, he was back to me. He says, Jim, I can't believe the engagement you're having with the team. And I says, well, that's because there hasn't been that opportunity in this kind of 9-to-5 corporate working space for employees to speak in confidence, face to face as well. So the personal is very much that, being in the business, not sitting in an office waiting for people to come to us, but just circulating amongst the desks and offices, engaging with people, and then proactive. As we develop the trust and relationship, we can proactively identify issues that people have and address them before it gets to that crisis point. And in partnership, we're working with the company, with the employee, with immediate family members, with business partners, etc. So that's what really, I guess, I've been born as a kind of altruistic person, being in the police, wanting to help people, and now in the business sector, wanting to help people. So that's really what's been driving me behind P3 Business Care.
That's amazing. That just sounds absolutely amazing what you're doing and what your business is doing. And you sound very passionate about helping people, and that's again. I'm just it's just brilliant, just brilliant.
I love it.
So I can kind of just going off what, because gave you lots of information about what your business does. So is it mainly in regards to, because coming up with Mental Health Week, is it mainly issues about mental health that your business often deals with, or is it other sort of parts of business as well that you might, I suppose, speak to some of your clients about?
It's a whole variety, Mark. It's basically whatever's going on in life. I mean, that could be a whole multitude of things. Interesting, when I was setting up, companies would say, how do you prove the engagement? So I created the ability for our business partners to to complete a digital worksite visit report every visit, which doesn't identify anyone, it's confidential, but there's 31 categories of conversation that we are recording in every visit. And that could be a mental health situation, it could be a relationship issue, it could be finance, it could be a work-related issue, a whole category of things. And the other thing I wanted to do was to offer this support to what I call immediate family. So that I mean parent, partner, child, because we know if you maybe experience yourself, if there's something going on in that sphere, that's ultimately impacting you at work. You don't miraculously leave that situation at home when you walk into the office. So it's interesting. I've been quite surprised the number of times where we've gotten engaged in situations involving immediate family. But again, it's coming back to the model. It's coming back to the developing the trust element, so people feel confident in opening up about whatever's going on in life, whether it's a work-related issue or outside.
Excellent, excellent. Again, thank you very much for sharing that. And again, I should have said, without going into too much detail, if you didn't want to, and things like that. So I appreciate the detail that you did give us. So thank you very much, Jim. Thank you very much. What sort of? I'm always interested in people like yourself who just really want to have a positive change in people's lives and help people. So, who were, I suppose, maybe your role models, or did you have any role models growing up, or it could be someone, family, friend, or it could even have been a celebrity. Did you have anyone?
It's a good question. I have a Christian faith, so I have a kind of strong calling, if you like, to feel that we should be caring for people. That's probably one of my main drivers. I mean, 20 years in business, you come across a lot of great individuals. It's difficult to say, Matthew McConaughey is a guy that I've recently been watching a lot of, the American actor, and he's moved this last few years into that space of, what are you doing with your life? How are you managing your life, etc. So I found a lot of his content's been really good. He's written a book recently called Green Lights, which looks, really helpful in that space as well. But no, I've been blessed, I think, since I retired from the police service. Aberdeen's a village at the end of the day, and I've known guys that have had businesses and they've said, look, will you come and work for me? So maybe in a business development role or a general manager role. And over the time, I think it's like being, you often hear from a football player that's moving into management and how he's learned from the best managers that he's had as a player. And I think it's like that in business. There's certain things that you learn from certain people that you work with. And when you get the opportunity to step into your own business, you think, okay, I remember such and such, he dealt with this that way, or he created this kind of culture within the business, and that kind of thing. So I can't say there's anyone in particular, but I've probably taken a lot from many, I would say.
Yeah. Did you join Matthew McConaughey's webinar recently?
I haven't. I started watching a bit of it actually. The living one. I'd seen, probably like a lot of people might be aware, of that speech that he gave to the students. That's probably the first sort of time I'd really heard them speaking in that space. But no, I've started watching that webinar, and also, as I say, I'm going to follow up and get his book as well.
Excellent. I've still to read his book. I've heard it's really good, and I read a little extract when it was released in the Times about a year and a half ago. So yeah, it's something I really want to read. You then talked about a little bit about, and I liked how you about business. I liked how you linked it with a footballer going into management. So how did you find that transition? Starting to run your own business and find your own business? How did you find that all of a sudden you're the guy at the at the top, you know?
Yeah, I'm blessed. I think when you find your purpose, and you get up every day loving what you do. Certainly in my time in the oil industry, I saw a lot of guys that had found themselves in a particular role and wedged into a space, and they were no longer getting any enjoyment from their job, but it was providing materially, etc. And I thought, I always want to get up every day and enjoy what I'm doing. But that's not to say there's not the challenges that you face. When you step out in faith to start your own business, it's you ultimately. I mean, you wear every hat, you've got every responsibility. And then, of course, you've got the challenges. Things start to grow and doors start to open, and you maybe have to, find other staff, different roles, different areas. You would think you would start a business in your own city in Aberdeen and get it established, and then look to expand from there. But that's not how it worked. We started support to a company in Aberdeen, and then a door opened into a company in Glenrothes, then a company down in Cardiff, then a company down in Poole in Dorset. And you've got Aberdeen, the north of Scotland. You've got Poole, the south of England, then Sheffield, and then back to Aberdeen and other companies. So that provides even more challenges. But yeah, I think it's good if you've got a network. You've got maybe 2 or 3 close friends that have been in business as well. Even better, maybe if somebody's already been through that process of setting up their own company. So you can go to them. They can become a sounding board and run past any decisions, particularly major decisions that you're thinking about. I want to do, X, Y, and Z, whatever it may be, and to be able to get that advice from them, because they've probably been through it and made the mistakes that you don't want to make ultimately. But again, as I say, it's having the vision and the purpose, and sticking to it. There'll be times you will need incredible perseverance when things are not going well. I mean, you look at COVID, our USP, if you like, was personal face-to-face visits to the workplace. And COVID happens, and all of a sudden, one of our clients furloughs 60 staff, for example. But it's finding a way through that, navigating through that, and coming out, still being there to come out the other side is an amazing achievement in itself, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And, you were saying there about challenges along the way. But also you talked a lot about some growth there as well. You've talked about how you've started off in Aberdeen all the way down to Poole now, which is excellent. In such a short space of time. So what? I suppose then, is there any sort of plans? You got a 5-year plan to continue growing? If you've got a 5-year plan, what is it? Would you like to share?
Yeah. Well, it's a great question. I'm 63. I've recently come through a cancer journey as well. So these kind of things get you to take stock. And looking ahead, yeah, I'd really love to get that person on board. That's the next generation of P3 business gear. Ultimately, I'd love to get to the point where I spend my time just doing this, telling people about P3 business gear and opening doors, so that we can get into support companies across the UK. The vision I have for the next 5 years is to have P3 business partners in every major city in Britain. And how I see that developing is that if we could get into in a particular city, say support maybe even just half a dozen companies, one of the P3 business partners could move into that role of what I call the company care leader. So then they would then become responsible for managing relationships with existing clients, finding new companies, training and recruiting new business partners as the need arises, and crucially providing the pastoral care to their team of business partners in that city. So I'd have a company care leader in Aberdeen, in Edinburgh, Glasgow, Manchester, London, etc., etc. So that's the vision. And recently, one of our clients in Aberdeen, in the drilling sector of the oil industry, has asked me to find business partners for their 12 global offices. So, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Dubai, etc., etc. So that's an exciting challenge as well. But so Mexico, I've already been speaking to a guy in Mexico, and he says, "Oh, I'm loving this, and I've got senior contacts in ex-multinational companies." He's already thinking this could be, incredible for where he is ultimately. So there's lots to happen in the next 5 years, I think.
Amazing.
All good.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like it. P3 business care going for world dominance by the sound. That's
Come
fantastic.
on,
I hope it happens.
Everybody started somewhere. Come on.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, kind of going back to where you started then with P3 business care. If you could maybe give yourself advice to that person who started this business, what would you say to them? Going through everything you've learned as a business owner, and we make mistakes as we go as a business owner. So what would you say? What advice would you give that person who started the business?
Yeah, your people are key. The people you take into the business are key, and go with your instinct. I had that gut feeling ultimately, and I was thinking maybe I shouldn't make this appointment, but for various reasons I did, and it didn't turn out well. So it was a learning curve for me. I thought, okay, there's maybe 3 or 4 good reasons why you should do something, but yet your gut is saying, no, I don't think I should be. So, but for me, go with your instinct, basically. And if you go with your instinct, I don't think we've probably all been in that space of having that feeling, and we do go with instinct, and it turns out that we made the right decision at the end of the day. So yeah, I would suggest that's an important one.
Yeah, follow your instinct. Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. Excellent. So it's been fantastic speaking to you today. Honestly, it really has. I think you've been excellent. I think people watching will be inspired by this, and certainly will be or hopefully will be looking up for more information about you and your business. So can you tell us then how can we get in touch with you? What's the best way to contact you, Jim?
Yeah, there's contact form on our website, and people can see what we're doing, and some of our testimonials there as well from some of our client companies. It's p3businesscare.com, or certainly you can get in contact. My personal email is jim.grimmer, GRIMMER, at p3businesscare.com. Either the two, and or support at P3 Business Care. If you can't remember my name, support at p3businesscare.com. That will come into the office as well. So yeah, it'd be great.
Excellent, Jim. Again, thank you very much for your time today. Again, I've really enjoyed speaking to you and learning more about you and P3 Business Care. So thank you very much, Jim.
Thanks very much, Mark. Thanks for the opportunity.
No problem.